though, because I can't.
We
I just
are.
see a big circle. So yeah, I'm going to take your word for it that we're live, and hopefully you're in control.
I know,
I
I'm
guess
the
that's because I'm
man.
logged in. I'm not logged in as Heroes of Hand. I'm the man. I'm the man. I'm the man. I'm the man. What's your thoughts on Killers? The new stuff from the Killers.
I didn't really like the new stuff, but the old stuff is so good that it's like can't be touched.
I miss the bright side. Ooh.
Hello and welcome to episode 226 of Heroes of Handheld. This is the internet's premium handheld gaming podcast dedicated to all things handheld, whether that be Switch, 3DS, Vita, iOS, Android, or anything else under the handheld video game sun. I'm Chris. I'm joined by Colin. Colin, I need to
Hi.
know, have you seen Mamma Mia yet?
I have seen Mamma Mia 1 for the
Oh, but
first time.
well, that's not what I meant. You know what I meant.
I know, but I've seen the first Mamma Mia. I watched it last week, and it was a great time. And the thing with me is, I'm a big sucker for musicals. I really am. And because for some reason I hadn't watched Mamma Mia, which doesn't make sense because I'm a big ABBA fan, but I just never watched it. And after I watched it, I had to, keep listening back to the tracks and watching on YouTube and things like that. It was a good time. So I am now very excited to see Mamma Mia 2. Here we go again.
Let me tell you, you are gonna absolutely bloody love it because I know what you're like. I know how you are with musicals. I know how you were about The Greatest Showman, and this is gonna scratch the itch that The Greatest Showman did for you.
I'm amazed that you've seen it already. That was a bit of a surprise.
Well, a little bit of a dark horse, Colin.
You like a bit of ABBA, do you?
Yeah.
I think the thing I was watching the first Mamma Mia, and it came to me, and it made me realize how many tunes they actually have. They got so many banging tunes. Like, was that the one like "Don't go play with my emotions"?
Yeah, Lay Your Love on Me.
Yeah, that's a good one. Take a chance on me. That's a good one as well. SOS. That was another one. Give me a man after midnight.
What did you think of Pierce Brosnan singing?
I've been told before seeing it that his singing is terrible. But what was even more alarming is just how much it seemed he was trying really hard, which made it even worse because he was singing alongside Meryl Streep, who's got a beautiful voice, and then he's just like yelling it, and she's just like singing it so elegantly. It made it even more funny.
It's quite something, isn't it?
But it just looks like everyone's having a great time, which is just nice. It's just nice.
You're gonna bloody love number 2.
I hope so. Anyway, so I think this is going to be a bit of a strange episode this week of Heroes of Handheld. Hello, this is Heroes of Handheld. We like to talk about handheld gaming because we're recording on a Monday. We don't normally record on a Monday, so it's only been it was only yesterday we last spoke, pretty much, wasn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So we've got a few nuggets of news, and then we're going to go out of here and watch the lie detector episode of Love Island because Chris has finally revealed what his plans are.
So exciting. All right, do you want me to just kick off?
Kick off.
Do you want to just bloody go for it? Bloody go for it.
So,
Colin.
Shit on it. Yeah.
What I want to first of all say is happy birthday because 2 days ago was Splatoon 2's first birthday.
Yeah.
I can't
believe it's been a year ago.
I know. Crazy. Many happy returns to them. And what is really impressive about that game as well is just how much free post-release content there's been. They've really kept it coming. Like, it's been genuinely very impressive, I think. The amount of post-release, new weapons, new levels, new items, new customizations, new modes and stuff. They really kept the good stuff coming. And that game is so popular in Japan. I mean, so popular everywhere, but especially in Japan. And I don't know if you're how across this you are, but Nintendo today announced this new type of event they're doing, which is this kind of UK, they're calling it Nintendo UK VS Live, and it's Nintendo celebrating competitive gaming. It's happening this weekend in London. And Splatoon 2 is like a big focus of the day. There's 2 days, July 28th, July 29th. You can get tickets on the Eventbrite page, although to be honest, by the time people listen to this, I think they're going to be gone. And it's this kind of UK ran day, 2 days of, come to this Nintendo thing, play all these competitive games. Overcooked 2 is going to be there. Killer Queen Black is going to be there. And there's a whole day where you can watch the Splatoon 2 Championships happening, the qualifying tournament. And then on the Sunday, there's a Smash Bros Invitational. It looks so dope. And they're going to live stream it all on twitch.tv/Nintendo UK as well. And then they've got other events coming up they've announced. So there's going to be Nintendo representation at Comic-Con. There's an unannounced September event. There's Birmingham Insomnia in August and Summer in the City on 10th to 12th of August. So, yeah, lots going on.
Yeah, it's good that they're showing love to us over here in the UK, which is nice to see. Where is this taking place again? What venue did you say?
It's in London. I can't quite see where it is.
Not the O2, not Wembley Arena?
No, here we go. It's like a conference or somewhere. Royal Temple or something?
Okay, this is really cool. I love that picture at the top on this article. It's actually the thumbnail for the YouTube video. I like the big Splatoon logo in the back. That's quite cool. That's people in cosplay. Let me just quickly rewinding a little bit to what you said about Splatoon 2. I got really into Splatoon 2 actually. I only played it for a couple of days, but I was actually quite obsessed with it. But I still really like it, but I've just been sidetracked by other games I've been playing. There was Skyrim, the Insane Trilogy, and also Mario Tennis, which have got in the ways. But one day I will go back to Splatoon 2 because what I like so much about it is how it played so well. Like the online was just perfect. I never had any issues, which is really great to see. I'll be really fascinated to watch the Splatoon 2 UK Championships because
watching them play it competitively is a whole other level. It's so good.
And then you realise you're not actually very good at all when you see these people. I bet they're really young as well because we're like old men now in the world of gaming. I think in the world of competitive gaming, because I know someone who used to be not high up, but they used to go to these national championships and actually won quite a lot of money. And I think from what I've been told, you retire at like the age of like 23, 24.
What did they
after
play?
That point, it was a shooting game. Wasn't maybe it's
Counter-Strike?
Maybe it was one of those FPSs. But
Have we not had this person on our podcast?
This is ages ago. I think I don't know where it was, but I'm trying to think what else they said because they're telling me how it's very competitive, obviously, but I think by the time you get, towards your mid-20s, like your reflexes or your senses aren't as good. So you sort of like very rapidly, your quality in the games goes down and down. Because when you're quite young, your responses are quite quick and your reactions are better. So that's why the younger players normally are better on these games like Call of Duty and things like that. But it's very interesting, like having to retire that young. It's just crazy, really. But I'll be interested to watch competitive players playing these games, like games that I play. Like just to know like how the other half live, basically. Oh, there's a FIFA one as well. Well, that'd be interesting. Competitive FIFA. I think FIFA's a little bit different to games like Mario Tennis, Mario Kart, and Splatoon, because with FIFA, like it's not really about you have to be more tactical with a game like FIFA. It's not really about. Oh, here we go. It's Chris about to shit on my face.
Don't say that any of those games aren't tactical. When they're played at a high level, they're extremely tactical.
They're tactical. But what also helps as well is your how you respond and your reflexes and things like that. But with FIFA, that's not really. Even if you are young and you got good responses and good reflexes, it's not gonna make that much of a difference really, because that's those sort of games. It's all about how you set your players up, the players you've got, where you tactically place them. I just think it's a different type of game. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, okay, I get you. It's just good to clarify.
Don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. And also, another news which isn't related to this at all, but I just want to say, I finally got my Mew in Pokemon Go. Woo!
Oh, wow. Nice work.
Very happy about that. Bloody annoying. When I had to actually catch the Mew goes invisible, and you have to do it in AR, virtual reality, whatever it's called, when you have the camera. There's no option to not do it like that, and you have to look around and find Mew, but Mew goes invisible as well, so it can be difficult to track down. You can just sort of see the outline, and you have an unlimited amount of Pokeballs, so you are going to catch Mew eventually. But it was actually quite a fun little change, and that was a really cool little. It's taken me months to do it, to be fair, so hopefully they'll release another one soon. But very excited that I finally did that. Can I just quickly talk about something? Now, this is an interesting bit of news here. Taking this article from Critical Hit, but it's been reported on loads of different sites around the internet. internet. And this is how, Nintendo, everyone loves Nintendo. They're all family friendly. They love the gamers and things like that. But we know in the past, they've sort of come down hard on people who are trying to steal their intellectual properties. I'm trying to think of other examples of this, but there's been times where, was it like a version of the original Mario was released or something, like not a legit version, and there's a Kickstarter, and Nintendo closed it down or something like that we've mentioned before. But this article is about how Nintendo is targeting the emulator website. So I don't really use emulators and things like that to play old games, but a lot of people do. And there's two websites. One's called Love ROMs, and the other one's called Love Retro, and they're very popular for people playing old Nintendo games, basically illegally. It's unauthorized copies of games. And I know this has been Nintendo have challenged this by having the Virtual Console. They've also released the what were those mini devices that they had that were versions of their old consoles?
The SNES Mini and the NES Mini.
That's it. Yes, they released those so people could get their nostalgic fix. But people are still obviously on these emulator sites, and Nintendo has finally taken a strict stance on this. And it's all down to these companies just distributing copyrighted games. So this is a statement from the lawsuit. It reads like this. The Love ROMs website alone receives 17 million visitors each month. Such visitors are drawn to the website by the widespread availability of free unauthorized copies of Nintendo's video games and other highly valuable intellectual property. The resulting popularity of defendants' Love ROMs and Love Retro websites has allowed defendants to reap substantial ill-gotten gains, including through donations and the sale of advertising on the Love ROMs and Love Retro websites. And in response to this, Love ROMs has purged all of its Nintendo ROMs as a result, while Love Retro has effectively shuttered, whatever that means. I assume it means it's like shut down at the moment. But Nintendo aren't stopping it there. Just because they've taken down those games, that's not good enough. Nintendo are wanting damages. I hope you're sitting comfortably for this. Nintendo wants damages of $150,000 for each Nintendo game hosted on the pair of sites, along with damages of up to $2 million for each trademark infringement. Nintendo is not playing around at all with this, and maybe it's because I guess Nintendo don't really need the money on this, but maybe they just want to drag these ones through the dirt, just to have an example, make an example to say this is what we do to people who play around with our copyright and things like that. But yeah, I mean, this is an interesting one as to whether Nintendo are being a bit too harsh on this. It obviously shows that there is a demand out there for people wanting to play these old games, and obviously the Virtual Console isn't coming to Nintendo Switch. So it's an interesting one. I don't know how. I mean, I don't really play emulators at all, so I can't really comment on this. This isn't going to affect me at all. But it's quite eye-opening how much Nintendo are going after these companies and how much money they're demanding from them. So we wait and see whether this lawsuit's taken any further. I mean, they've taken down the games now, but I mean, Nintendo are very, very strict on their copyright.
They are. I get annoyed about this, Colin, and I'll tell you why. Because for a really long time, there were a lot of Nintendo games that you couldn't play legally. Like, I can totally understand that they're suing them, and I totally understand that they're saying, we want however many million, thousand, bazillion pounds for every copy of Super Mario 3 or something. But there are games that you can't, if Nintendo aren't going to digitally re-release stuff. I'm not saying that it's an appropriate behavior on the part of the consumer, because it is stealing, but you can understand why people would go to emulators.
It's sort of similar to the whole Game of Thrones argument, isn't it? How Game of Thrones is the most torrented TV show in the world. And people have used the argument that if you don't have the channels that they're broadcast on around the world, then it's very difficult to get Game of Thrones in a a reasonably priced manner, unless you go on iTunes and buy the whole series like 50 quid or something like that. So which has led people to going to these torrent websites. So people, maybe this sort of should say something to Nintendo, that the reason people are going to these websites is there's a reason behind it. It's because they can't get their fix anywhere else.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I do think that is people want to pay money for stuff because a lot of times it's easier. Like it's easier. I would much prefer, say I wanted to play, I don't know, Daikatana from the Game Boy Color. I would much rather give Nintendo £2.99 and download it on my Switch than download an emulator, install the emulator, download the ROM, check it's the English version of the ROM, install it, get your keyboard hotkeys set up. Like, it's a ball ache. If you make it easy to buy stuff, people will buy stuff.
Exactly. It brings up the argument of the virtual console again.
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch. But yeah, I mean, we'll keep an eye on this one. I mean, this is just the very, very early stages of this lawsuit. We wait and see whether they rule in favor of Nintendo. I probably imagine they will, unfortunately. But yeah, we wait and see. But it's an interesting one. There's a debate here, and obviously there's two sides to it. Obviously, in one instance against the law, in one instance people want to play it. Anyway, right, so that's interesting. But shall we do some quick fire news from the world of Switch? Because I see you've got a couple of stories here. I want to do this story about Fortnite. Now, I saw you put a video up on Twitter of you playing Fortnite, but because I'm not really in tune with being a Fortnite player, I didn't really understand what I was looking at. I saw you building like a ramp and walking up some staircase, but
well, did you watch it to the end?
I thought I did. Well, you talk and I'll watch it now.
Well, because over the weekend, I don't want to brag, Colin.
Right.
But my friend Rob was over, who's been on this podcast before, and he's not played much Fortnite. I played quite a lot of it on PlayStation, and we were playing together on Switch. And finally, it took us a long time, but finally got a duos win on Saturday. And then on Sunday night, got another one. Two in a row. Rob made a video which we've retweeted from the Heroes for Handheld Twitter, which is like a highlights reel. But yeah, that was my second win, I think. Rob got the kill on the first one.
How did you make a montage?
You can capture video on the Switch by holding the button to take the last 30 seconds, and you can export that from an SD card, which I didn't know you could either, but Rob managed to work it out.
Amazing. I like the highlights reel. That's really cool.
Yeah, so I was playing a lot of Fortnite over the weekend, a lot of duos, and I will say I'm thinking of leaving my PlayStation account behind and spending money on the Switch one.
What, for Fortnite?
Yeah, because it's like the Switch player base, it seems so much more fun. It seems like the standard is a lot better.
This has opened another debate, which you mentioned last week. Like, is it showing that your skill in Fortnite is improving, or are the players you're playing against of a lower quality?
I think it's a bit of both. I think I would say it's a bit of both, to be honest.
Well, I mean, it's still quite a feat, winning a game of Fortnite. It's still very competitive, no matter what platform you play it on. And the fact you did it twice is very impressive. So, congratulations, sir. Congratulations.
You need to get on it. We need to play together.
I have played Fortnite on Switch, and I was actually, because I've said this before, I've never really been the biggest fan of Fortnite. I've never really got into it. I played it on Xbox and on my mobile. But I did play it on Switch, and I did sort of get it a bit more then. I did enjoy it. I pretty much just sat in this toilet and waited for people to come to me, and then I killed them, and then I came like 11th, and I was well happy with that. That was on solo, though. But apparently, this Fortnite's made over $1 billion from in-game purchases as well.
Yeah, this is from GamesIndustry.biz, who have published the results from a market research from Superdata, who have published a report on Fortnite, Battle Royale games in general. And apparently, they've made from October 2017 to May of this year, and they've now hit over $1 billion on in-game purchases, which is huge, mad.
But then with their in-game purchases, it's all cosmetic, isn't it? There's nothing to help you win the game. So
exactly.
All done the right
cosmetic.
way. Yeah,
and
that's good.
I think that's great. Really I think that's really good.
I can support that as long as it's not like pay to win sort of idea. That's great. That's how it's done right. And Epic Games, they must be laughing all the way to the bank. Honestly, they're on top of there. Epic Games have always been close to my heart ever since Gears of War 1 came out. So there you go.
Very quickly,
Yes.
Some other bits of news. Digimon Survive is coming to Switch next year. This is a top-down strategy game that's meant to resemble sort of Fire Emblem or something like that. And it's coming out in, I think, Japan first. Lots of Japanese blogs have got information on it. 2D, and there's story progression and changes based on choices, and you're going to play with Agumon as your partner. Do you remember Agumon, Colin? Were you into Digimon?
I was never into Digimon. So I have no idea what these names are.
Well, Agumon is one of the main boys. He's the yellow lizard dude. He's no Gabumon. Gabumon is the fucking man, but he's all right.
Of course he's not. No. I know this guy. Yeah, I know this guy.
So there's a Digimon event that's going to happen on the 29th of July. So we'll have some more news probably in next week's podcast about that. But yeah, it's coming to Switch next year. And the last little bit of news is Hollow Knight have released their information on their DLC pack, which is coming to Switch in August. So Hollow Knight must have done very well because there's more content coming. It's the Gods and Glory pack, and it's going to be coming out on August the 23rd. It's free as well. Arrives for all players then. Largest pack yet. New bosses, new music, new NPCs, new quests. And it's apparently going to be a very big celebration for Hollow Knight. So very keen for that. Coming out PC and Nintendo Switch end of August. There's also a new Hollow Knight album, in case you're interested, which there's basically, I'll embed a link because they've done this big kind of press release about all the cool stuff going on over there at Team Cherry. And I think that's it. I don't want to do Demo Memo this week, Colin, because I want to save it for next week when we've got a bit more time. Because we've been playing Sushido, the demo for Sushido Strikers. So get your thoughts in about that. Colin,
is it a football game? Sounds like a football game. Is it a football game?
No, it's a sushi puzzle game.
Of course it is. That was my second guess. Right, if you want to get in contact with us, Heroes of Handheld .wordpress.com. That's our website. You can listen to all the previous episodes of our podcast. You can contact us through the contact us button, obviously. You can email us, heroesofhandheld@gmail.com. We're on iTunes, we're on Stitcher. You can just Google Heroes of Handheld, we'll come up. We're on Twitter. That's our main port of call, @Handheld Podcast. We'd love to hear from you. We do tweet throughout the week. We'll be back next week. Are we back next week?
Yeah, we'll talk about that off air.
Cool. Okay. We'll be back at some point in some form next week, I'm sure. It's been fantastic speaking to you, Chris. It's been absolutely fucking amazing.
Oh, you're very kind.
I'm glad you take a chance on me.
Let's not push it.
Money. Anyway, thank you for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week at some point. Bye-bye.
Bye.